Yeah, I don't think anybody's in here quite yet. But yeah, it's been an interesting week. This last week we had some flooding issues out at our bug out location.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you advertised on your channel that we were doing a live tonight or not.
I did. I put a video out the other day, and I honestly I only have 240 subscribers, so I don't really have all
that. I just dropped from 600 and something all the way down to 400 and something.
Yeah, it's staying here. Got the cats running around. Let's see. You're saying on here you're at 424.
Yeah. And see, I was at like 625, 660, somewhere through there. And after I made that video telling people how it is that if they're not training their children on how to survive, that when they go and they think they're going to bug out in the woods, that their children were just going to die because they wouldn't know what to do. I mean, I got tons of hate mail over that. And I'm like, look, people, I'm just telling you, start training your children on how to survive. My current wife has 2 little kids. All right. Now, just taking these 2 camping is a chore in of itself. Okay. Just regular camping. Okay. They don't know how to shut up, for one. So if we were in a bug out situation and we were being followed, they would hear it. Everybody would hear these kids. I've been trying to train them on how to survive, but her kids have ADHD and stuff like that. So they're a little hard to get under control when we're out there. I mean, her son, we went camping at a place called Devil's Kitchen. And trust me, it was a shithole place. But early in the morning, he got up really early before the rest of us. Hello, everybody. Independent Marine, Patricia.
Hey, everybody. Oh, yeah, we got some people in here now.
But see, he got up before everybody else, and he snuck a lighter out and was setting the edge of the woods on fire. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
And this is in a state park. So I think I lost him. Yep. Where'd he go? Well, hell. I have to wait for him to get back on. How's everybody tonight? There he is. Let's see.
The button, and I shouldn't have pressed the button. You hear? See me now?
Yep. I can hear you.
Oh man!
I was like, where'd he go? Let's see.
Yeah, I tried to push the button on the phone to get the chat, and it totally took me out of the camera. So we're just going to leave that alone.
Well, see, well, like I said, he snuck out real early in the morning, got a lighter. He's going around the edge of the campground, setting the tree line on fire. Well, my daughter heard him get up, and she went to see what he was doing. She went over, she stomped it out, drug him back to the tent, woke me up, told me what he was doing. So I went out there, made sure all the fire was out first. And now, being as he's my stepchild, I kept my cool. I didn't beat him or nothing like that. I did grab him by the shirt, and I spun him around, and I pushed him down on an air mattress, and I go, "Don't you fucking move! I don't want to hear a word out of you. You sit your ass right there and give me about 20 minutes to calm my ass down." Yeah.
I'm gonna calm down, and we'll come back and reassess the situation.
Oh yeah, but according to him, the story he told his daddy was that I beat him and all this other shit. And I told his dad, exactly what happened. I go, if you got a problem with what I did, then step up and start swinging other ways. Step the fuck off and leave me the hell alone. I don't play no shit. This is the same man that made threats on me and then went and got a restraining order against me when I told him to shut up and step up. That's all I said to him.
Yeah. He doesn't sound like too much of a man then.
No, when me and my wife first got together, when we were dating, he made all sorts of threats. He was going to beat me to death. He was going to have people beat me to death and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, look, man, if you were actually going to do anything, you just step up and do it. You don't announce what the hell you're going to do.
Right, exactly.
If I got a problem with you, I'm going to come and whoop your ass without even anybody knowing.
Right, and sure as hell aren't going to call Johnny Law to come and
right.
No, we don't do that where I'm from. We deal with the problem as it.
But we had quite a weekend last weekend with we have a creek that runs through our bug out location, and it was flooding out. We keep our pig pen close to the little creek so that we can get water from the creek for the hogs. Now, well, it flooded out and we almost lost our hogs because they were drowning in the mud out there.
So, what did you guys get? Did you get a bunch of rain?
Oh man, we had rain for like 4 days straight.
Oh wow!
And mixed with all the water from the snow melting off. I mean, it was bad. We had to get the front loaders and stuff out there. We have a mixture of gravel and dirt that we put down in other areas to build with. But we scooped all that up and made a makeshift levee around the pig pen and stuff so that it wouldn't, and we tried to build it as much as we could around the river. So,
yeah.
But yeah, it was a hell of a weekend.
Yeah. Well, I did a video earlier today, not to that extent, but how plans always change. What on the homestead or wherever, you go out and you set out to do one thing and you see something else that needs attention. So your whole game plan has changed up because you need to take care of that and then try to find time to fit the original task in. It's never ending. You're always doing something and changing the direction of what has to be done.
Well, it's you always have to be flexible. And, especially if things get to the point where it's an SHTF, you've got to be able to change your plans on a dime. I mean, you got to be able to turn that sucker around and, okay, we were going to do this, but this is going on over here, so we got to go over here. That's why I tell people put stashes all in different directions, not just in the direction of your bug out location. But put them, northeast, southwest, southeast, all different directions. That way you're covered no matter which way you have to go.
Yep.
Right.
And that's a mindset that, not a lot of people have. And I think they should, try to learn is that prepper mindset is, I think you either have it or you don't. I mean, I think it's something that can be taught and can be learned, but if you don't have that from an early age, to try to get into that full mindset of always thinking about what if or what I could do with that or whatever, that's something that's, I think you either have it or you don't.
Yeah, I was brought up, I've told a lot about my life. My father was a child molester, so I wound up being raised by my grandparents and my uncle and other family members, but mainly my grandparents raised me, and they lived through the Depression era, so they taught me how to be self-sufficient. And my uncle, he's a veteran of he's deceased now, but he was a veteran of Korea and Vietnam, and he was special forces. He was heavy into survivalism, so he taught me a lot there. So I had those advantages where a lot of people nowadays haven't had advantages like that because, these are things that are either passed down or they're not. And it depends on whether or not the kid wanted to pay attention to it too,
Right. And the funny thing with that is, because I grew up with kind of the same way. you know, I grew up a lot with my grandparents, and my my old man was from Vermont, so he had that way of living up there in the woods, and you know, you don't really realize how much you actually pay attention to things when you're young until you get old and
Yeah.
you get into that situation. Like we always had a big garden. My parents canned. You know, they would always buy meat in bulk and package it up themselves because they saved money and they had meat in the freezer. And then I realized once I started to get older and started to, you know, continue that, I guess, I don't know, trait, would you call it? You know,
Yeah.
you start to remember things that your parents did and your grandparents did, and you're like, holy shit, you know, now I know why they did that. And with
Yeah. You got
everything
to
that's
keep
going
it.
on, that's super
You got to
important.
keep it going, though. You know, like I tried to teach my kids as much as I could. What they learned depends on how much they paid attention. You know, but
Yep.
uh, Independent Marine wants to know where you're from.
I am from Eastern Connecticut.
Oh, I feel bad for you on the
So,
East Coast.
yeah, tell me about it. But you know, I guess when you put up with shit so long, you kind of just get used to it. But you know, in time, I plan on hopefully to get out of Connecticut. Um, it's become such a liberal state. It's ridiculous.
Don't feel bad. I'm in Illinois. Okay, this, this is a really liberal state. Uh, because of Chicago, it's a liberal state. Okay.
Yeah,
And once you get outside Chicago, other than Springfield, Illinois, this is a red state. But since there's
yeah,
such a big populace in those two cities that go Democrat, you know,
yep,
they overrule everybody else in the state. You know,
yep,
Illinois is a beautiful state. We have some great wildlife. We have some, you know, we have a lot of flat land, which is great for farming. A lot of really good farmland. You know, we have a beautiful state park in southern Illinois. It's Garden of the Gods. It's an amazing, beautiful area. I mean, we have a down in the Garden of the Gods. There's a place called Rock City, and it's basically where over thousands of years the water has eroded away and just left big pillars of rock, you know, and big tunnels where you go through that are just solid rock. You know, it's really
yeah,
beautiful. You
yeah.
know,
I mean, Connecticut. Oh, go ahead.
go ahead.
Other than Connecticut's politicians, I think Connecticut's a pretty nice state too. We got a lot of state forests. We have a lot of fishing areas and you know, stuff like that. And to give credit where credit's due, the Connecticut DEP, you know, they do put a fair amount of money into stocking pheasants on the state property. They do a good job at stocking those trout management areas. So, you know, there's a lot of fishing. We have a lot of whitetail deer. I'm a big hunter myself, so I take advantage of that every year. You know,
Yeah,
so it's Connecticut's a nice state. It's just the politics that suck.
I've been to Connecticut. I've been out there fishing before. It was really nice, but I've also been there in the big truck. But you know, hell, I've been to all 50 states plus Alaska and or plus Canada and Mexico. You know, um, I spent some time in Hawaii when my uncle was stationed out there back in the early '80s. You know, he flew me out
Right.
there. You know, he flew me out there. It's beautiful there, but you know, it's the problem with a lot of these places is that they've just become too liberal about everything. You know, I mean, when I lived in California back in the late '80s, early '90s, and you know, it wasn't that bad then, but it has gotten. I mean, it is a total shithole out there now. I'm sorry if anybody's from California, but you know, I was in Southern California. Now, Northern California, oh my God, it's beautiful up there. You know, a lot of.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to go up into the mountains, and I loved it out there. If it wasn't for how liberal of an area it is, it wouldn't be so bad to live. You know,
Right.
so
Yeah, I
you
haven't
guys,
been up the East Coast.
You have any livestock on your homestead?
I do. I do have chickens. I have 14 hens and a rooster. Um, and actually today I just got 12 more chicks. I went to the Tractor Supply and they had chicks there. So I got 12 more. I got six Isa Browns and six Opingtons, I believe, which are pretty hardy egg layers.
Hopefully they had them sexted before you bought
Yeah,
them, because
these ones were pullet.
I went to buy some one year, and I wound up with 6 roosters out of 8 chicks that I'd bought. You know? So we raised them and had them for dinner. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
not much you can do with that many roosters.
No, definitely not. And they don't really have much meat on them anyway, so it takes a few of them to make a good meal.
Oh
But
yeah.
so I do the egg layer chickens, and I've done two batches now of meat birds. We did those back in December. We harvested them.
I out at our bug out we have various livestock, from cows to chickens to pigs and some goats and stuff like that. But here at home, I have a kennel out here that I raise rabbits in for meat. And my wife's kids like to name the rabbits, and then when they'll ask me what's for dinner, and here I did, like a couple of weeks back, I killed one of the rabbits and we had it for dinner. And her kids come in and asked me what we were having for dinner, and I told them that we were having Babs for dinner. They cried all through.
Oh man, but it was tasty, right?
But
so I've never had rabbit other than a couple, that I've shot, in the wild. How is the raised rabbit for meat? How is that?
Well, raising them for meat, they get a lot more meat on them. They also get a little more fat than what the wild rabbit does. They taste a little different because the difference is you got wild game and then you got domesticated rabbit. Her kids can't tell the difference between that and chicken. But me, I can tell the difference. I know what everything. People always say this tastes like chicken and that tastes like chicken. No, it tastes like whatever it is. Everything has a distinct taste.
Right.
But we do have. I got a small 5 cubic foot freezer that's just full of rabbit. And we're starting to put them into the bigger freezer. But I mean, it takes a lot of rabbit just to fill up a 5 cubic foot one.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I know the manure from the rabbits is really good for your garden too. It's a cold manure, so it doesn't have to compost. You can use it right away.
Yep.
What is it? Rabbit, sheep, and goat, I believe, are cold.
Yeah, cold chicken manure as well. Chicken manure is. I use chicken manure
with the high nitrogen. You have to let that break down a little bit longer, I believe.
Yeah, but see, I put it in there. My neighbor here in town, he has chickens and turkeys in his backyard, and whenever he cleans out his coops, he brings it over and puts it in my garden. Okay, so all late fall, after we've harvested everything, all the way up until we plant, he's putting the chicken manure out there. So it's had plenty of time to break down and compost in really good. So it makes our soil nice and rich, along with the rabbit poop. And,
Yeah. The way I do it at the end of in the fall time, at the end of the garden season, when I've gotten everything pulled up, I'll clean the coop out, and I'll put a thin layer all on top of everything, on top of all the beds and the open areas, and then the rest of it goes in the compost. and I let that stuff sit on the garden all year. I don't touch it till spring, and then I'll till that up, and then I'll add more of the compost, which has the chicken poop and the all the
Okay,
vegetable cuttings and all that stuff.
this little town here, we're only a town of about 700 people, but they've been passing some stupid stuff. Okay, like can't collect rainwater anymore. Uh, they no longer allow me to do compost.
Are you kidding
And I'm
me?
like, the rainwater I collected, I have a screen over it to keep mosquitoes from laying eggs and all that. It was used
Yep.
to water my garden. I don't see what the problem was.
Right.
The compost, I kind of see their problem because, some people that they let their compost get a little too ripe, shall we say?
Yeah.
So, but you put a little lye in there and it cuts down on the smell,
Yep.
but we had a lot of people that weren't putting any lye in with it, and the middle of summer it would really get rank.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I can kind of see their point there, but I mean, don't ban it. Just teach people the proper way to do it.
Right. Exactly. Right. And that's
Because
the problem is they don't want to offer any information on how we can do things, how people can do things correctly. They just want to put bans and restrictions all on it right at once, and that's a problem.
yeah, I mean, it's these towns anymore are getting, even the little towns are getting carried away with their restrictions. And then you get people that don't do any research before they start doing anything. Like start raising chickens. Everybody thinks, oh, I can just buy some chickens and some feed and I'll be good. There's a little more to it than that.
There's a little more to it than that. Yeah, I did research for about 3 months before I originally ordered my chickens. I had ordered them from McMurray's, but I researched it. I already had my coop built. I already had my pen built. I figured out, and read about the ins and outs about chickens, and then I ordered them and went from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, you got to do your research.
Well, a lot of these people don't realize chickens are escape artists. If you give them a chance, they will get out and you will be chasing them all over the place.
Yep. There's been plenty of times I'd come home from work and there'd be chickens running around the yard. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
How the hell did you get out? I didn't let you out yet. And
well, my neighbor has a hell of a time keeping. My neighbor has a hell of a time keeping his turkeys pinned up. Every now and then I'll go to let my dog out in the backyard, and there's a turkey out in the backyard, and boy, he takes off after that turkey. He chases that thing down the railroad tracks about 2 miles.
I had a couple of turkeys last year too, and I'd go out there to lock up the chickens, and I'd where the hell the turkeys? They're up in a tree on a branch. They're up on top of the coop. Yeah, they like to escape a lot too. But I'll tell you what, that turkey I had it for Thanksgiving. I brined it for 24 hours and roasted it. Oh, it was the best. It was so freaking.
There's nothing better than fresh killed turkey, chicken. The stuff you buy at stores has already been sitting for weeks before you ever can get to consume it. So, when you have farm fresh chicken, farm fresh pig, cow, I mean, it's a totally different flavor because it hasn't been sitting forever.
Right. And you know what it's been fed too. It's not being fed a bunch of bullshit. And actually for supper tonight, I had pork chops that guy up the road raised a pig himself last year. And he had called me one night after he had it butchered, and he's like, "Hey, did you got any eggs?" And I said, "Yeah, I got eggs. Come on down." He goes, "Oh, I'll trade you a package of pork chops." I'm like, "Hell yeah, man. Let's do it." And I had it tonight for supper, and it was delicious.
Yeah, people in my community here, a lot of the people that live around me are actually members of my mag. So we'll trade back and forth between us. Like I normally have a rather large garden, so I have a lot of stuff that I can, you know, and I'll trade, you know, like my neighbor just next door here, he butchered up a couple of goats not that long ago, and I love goat meat. It's good, you know, and he traded me some of my canned goods that I'd canned up earlier in the year, like green beans and some tomatoes and stuff like that, you know, some okra. He traded me that for a slab of the goat ribs, you know.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah. That's what it's
good,
all about, man.
you know.
Oh yeah. You know, that's back that old living, you know, mentality. That's how people did things back in the day. They traded their goods. You had one person that did this and one person that did that, and you guys traded and worked together. You know, that was
Yeah,
that
you
was the
have
community.
to. Well, I mean, if things get bad, you're going to have to do stuff like that. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, because you're not going to be able to get nothing from the store, you know. So your only option is either to starve or to build a community to where you're trading with each other, you know.
Right.
And we've already got that community together. There's 300 people in my mag altogether. That's men, women,
Holy
and
crap.
children, you know.
Wow.
And a lot of them are people that I know around town here. And we've bought a bug out location. We've been out there fixing it up and everything, you know. Of course, I bought 5 acres of land out there. Now, one of them we discovered after we tore the house down. There was an old farmhouse there. We discovered that there was a old bomb bunker that the farmer had built back in the 50s. Now
Oh
it was
shit.
in disrepair. You know, it had about a foot of water in it. But we dug it up and we patched it up and put new concrete and everything around it and waterproofed it and everything and pumped out all the water, redid the inside of it. It's beautiful in there now. I mean, we're still working on it, but you know, it has air filtration now. It has its own diesel generator as well as solar generators, and I mean,
Wow, there you
it's
go.
4 bedrooms. There's 4 bedrooms in
Bedrooms?
there. Yeah,
Holy,
it's huge.
that's pretty,
You know.
that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I've
Now,
got like probably five member mag, I would say. You know, we just have a small group of us, you know, guys that I've known for a while and that I trust wholeheartedly. You know, there's not
see,
too many people that know exactly what I have in stock and ready to go. You know,
right?
because I don't believe in sharing everything with everybody. Like if you've seen any of my videos, I don't really put too much about, you know, what I have food prepped wise, because
Yeah,
you know,
I try not to
somebody's always
show.
watching.
I try not to show my bug out location for one because I don't want people that know me to see my videos and say, okay, well, I know where that's at, you know, or I know who he is. I'll follow him sometime and see where he goes and stuff like that, you know. But you know, just at the house here, we have like a year and a half worth of food for 7 people. You know, now granted, it's just me and my wife here. It's just me and my wife, but I also have kids that I know that are going to be coming when it
Right,
hits the fan. So I prepare for everybody, you know.
right. Yeah.
But out at our bug out, I've got about 5 years worth of food for 7 people. Of course, you know, about 3 years of that is dehydrated, you know, powdered foods and stuff like that. And then the other couple of years is regular canned foods and, you know, stuff that we canned out of the gardens and put in storm cellars and stuff like that, you know.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I need to get a little bit more into the canning myself. I've dabbled a little bit with it, but not as much as I'd like to. So
yeah,
this year is definitely going to be one of those years that I can way more than I ever have.
people think it's hard to can too, and it's really not that hard. I mean,
No, it's
there's not
not.
a lot to it, you know. Now making,
Actually,
you make
I
jam.
pulled out a book here. You know, I dug this book out. I don't know if you can see
Oh,
that.
the home canning, yeah,
Yeah, you know, $8.
yeah.
You know,
I have the ball book of home canning, you know,
Yep.
And that thing's great. I mean, it tells you everything that you need to know about canning anything you want to can. You know.
Yeah. And if people didn't know too, I don't know how long they've been doing it, probably forever, but on the bottom of a case of mason jars, there's a chart on the bottom of
Yep.
the box that gives you pressure canning information on how long to do it and how much pressure and whatnot. So, that's a
Yeah,
helpful tool to have.
you just reminded me. I've got 4 cases of bell jars that I just got, and I got to bring them into the shed. They're still in the trunk of the car. You know, we
Yeah,
finally found
I picked up 3 cases the other day. Right, yeah, it was hard to find them. I picked up 3 the other day from this little like bargain store that I go to, and I mean, this store's got everything. He's got freaking gravel to all soils and all kinds of little hardware. You can find everything in that store. And so I've known the guy for years, and he's like, "What are you getting yourself into?" And I'm like, "I'm just making some moonshine. Don't worry about it." And he just kind of chuckled and laughed. Don't
I
worry about what
appreciate
I'm
that,
doing.
Independent Marine.
Yeah,
But
I see we've had some comments come in there. Do we respond to some of these? I feel like that's probably
yeah,
the
that's
right
what
thing to do.
I've been putting some of them up on the screen. Yeah. Uh, yeah.
I saw one that flashed up about my haircut, and I was kind of curious what that one said.
Oh, I didn't see that one. But yeah, if the government says they want to help, run the other way. That's no joke.
Yeah, right. Well, what is it? The nine scariest words. I'm here from
Yeah.
the government. I'm here to help.
Yep.
Yeah. No, thank you. No,
Yeah,
thank you.
baby. This is my wife, Heather.
Hello, Heather. Good. How are you? So I did want to bring up something. I'm very good. I wanted to bring up something that we were talking about earlier about the kids and involving the kids. So back in December when we butchered those meat chickens, another friend I went in on him with my neighbor, and he's newer to prepping and he's getting into the homestead life too. So another friend of mine who had just bought an old chicken farm and is turning it into. He's got pigs. He's got a bunch of chickens. Actually, a bunch that I sold him. So I had bought 50 chickens from Tractor Supply. They were supposed to be meat birds. Well, it turned out that they were white leghorn egg layers.
Oh, shit.
And I didn't need 50 friggin' egg layer chickens. So I reached out to this guy, made a deal with him, sold them to him, and then I bought the 50 off another hatchery, actually from Texas. So when it came time to processing the birds, he had reached out and said, "Hey, let me know. I want to come by, give you a hand. I want to learn how to do it." Cool. So he had come by on Saturday morning. It was like December, I think 15th. It was freaking cold as hell. Everything was iced up and it was cold. He brought his I think 9-year-old son. Okay. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. At first, when I saw a kid show up, and I was like, he's kind of gonna damper things, Thought he was gonna slow things down. But this kid was on it. We showed him what to do. He had no qualms about it at all. He was slicing their throats. He was helping us, putting them in the water. He was plucking them. He was gutting them, and it was freaking great. His dad was so proud of him. And
Oh, yeah.
and for me to see that, I don't have any kids. I've been with a few women that have had kids, so I've tried to teach them, but most of them aren't even interested. I was proud as hell to have this kid here doing this with us, with grown men learning how to do something. It was freaking awesome.
A lot of kids nowadays aren't interested in anything like that. They want to play their video games, play their tablets, play on their phones, and all that kind of crap.
Right.
Yeah, I've been trying to break her kids wanting to be on tablets and stuff. So I put their tablets up. I don't even let them have them when they're here anymore. Yeah. And it pisses them off.
Yeah, they'll get over it.
Yeah, they get mad at their mom over me not letting them have their tablets.
Oh, well.
Yeah, they'll get over it. I mean, there's plenty of other things they can do. They had no imagination. When we got together, they had absolutely no imagination. They could not do anything unless it was on a computer or a tablet or anything like that. And so when I took the tablets away, it made them have to develop an imagination. They had to come up with inventive ways to play, and they weren't used to that. So it took them a little while, but they're getting the hang.
Got there more.
Yeah. Her son is he's really picked up on it. He's into building.
They're still moldable, somewhat moldable at that point, I guess, right?
Yeah. But, I mean, when I was a kid, we didn't have none of that shit. We went out and figured out what we were going to do, I mean,
yeah, exactly. We were out playing roller hockey, street hockey, and setting the woods on fire. And I may or may not have shot out the back window of my neighbor's station wagon with a BB gun.
Oh, yeah.
Things happen sometimes.
I already told
him.
Well,
yeah,
In the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah. My old man has a history. He lit the backwoods of his my grandparents, his parents' place on fire when he was a kid. It's just it's a rite of passage, right?
Yeah, we all go through that firebug stage. I mean,
Oh yeah.
That's why I didn't get too out of hand with it. I mean, it pissed me off. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't punish him as severely as I could have over it, because I mean, we've all been there.
Right. Yes, we have.
When I was a kid, me and my second oldest brother, we were out playing in the middle of a wheat field. And my oldest brother went around the outskirts of the wheat field on a 3-wheeler, setting it on fire. So, yeah, 80 acres of wheat went up. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
We were treading water for hours in the little pond that was out there to keep from getting burnt up.
Oh, man.
My oldest brother wanted to be an only child. He tried to kill all of us.
I guess so.
About it. It wouldn't log in.
Oh.
But yeah, it was quite the childhood with him. I remember he pissed my grandfather off one time because he kept going out and messing with the hog and letting them out of the pen and stuff, So my grandfather told him, you mess with them one more time, I'm going to lock you in the trunk of the car. Now it was mid-May, so it was pretty warm out. So he went out there, he let the hogs out again. My grandfather picked him up by the back of his pants, tossed him in the trunk of the car, closed the car, went back about every half hour or so, gave him a cup of water, asked him if he thought he could behave, and when he'd started running his mouth and stuff, he just closed the trunk back on him again.
5 more minutes.
But you do that nowadays, and it's child abuse.
Oh yeah. Oh, my mom used to put me in the chair and turn me around and face the corner. And I remember this one place that we were in. It had like wallpaper, and it was like of a fruit basket. And I had to look at that damn wallpaper so many times that it's like embedded in my mind.
Now, see, you're lucky. When I got in trouble, it was go out, pick a switch, or they'd take a razor strap to my ass. Hell, my grandmother, one time I mouthed off to her, and she said something to me about she going to whip my ass, and I told her she got to catch me. Well, she grabbed the shotgun from behind the door, kept it loaded with rock salt and pork rind, bacon grease and all that. Well, she shot me in the ass with it. I could not sit down for 3 weeks, and it took about 4 hours for all that salt to dissolve in my ass.
Yeah, and you felt it the whole time.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I think you might be a generation or two ahead of me, so we didn't have it quite that bad. But I can tell you that
I learned never to mouth off to her again. She was only 4'11", all right, but she was a little Irish woman, and she had the temper. Let me tell you, her last name was Simpson, but the great thing about this is She was married to my grandfather, which was 7'3", and she was 4'11". He was
Yeah.
he was still taller sitting down than she was standing up behind him. It was hilarious. I mean, but she was very blunt about everything. I mean,
yeah, I would bet. Well, that was they were different humans back then. It was.
Yeah, she didn't hold back. I asked her a sexual question when I was young. I asked her some stuff about sex. Wow, she did not hold back to tell me anything about sex. I mean, she told me stuff I didn't ever want to know.
You probably still wish you didn't.
Oh yeah. I mean, I still every now and then I think about her and I get this image of the stuff she was telling me popping into my head. And it's just like, oh God, no.
Okay. Mental picture, no. Yeah, when I was being a little shit to my mom, my old man used to put hot peppers in my mouth and make me chew on them. Yeah, and he grew like habaneros and ghost peppers. He grew them hot things, man. And I'm thick-headed. I'm German and Portuguese, so I got a thick head, and I didn't learn the first time. I burnt my damn mouth so many times.
I'm German, Irish, French, and Native American, so I've got quite the mixed breeds in me.
I'm not sure about me, Alvin. How's that?
Yeah. My two of my grandfathers, one of my grandfathers was full-blooded German. The other one was half German, half French. My grandmother on my mom's side, she was a Blackfoot Indian, and my other grandmother was an Irish woman. So it makes for quite the breed. I mean, part of me wants to give up to the other part because the German and the French.
Right.
I just want.
Yeah, well, I get the Portuguese and German, so I'm just stubborn to the bone. Well, and the same thing with my mom. My mother is only 4'9", and my old man is 6'2", and his mother was really short. I think grandma was maybe 4'10", and my grandfather was like 6'3" or 6'4".
Yeah,
no, it was.
Unfortunately, I didn't get the height from my grandfather. I'm only 5'8", so hell, she's taller than I am by an inch. She's 5'9".
Yeah, I'm only 5'9" too, but 2 pounds, 10 pounds of lightning in a 2-pound box. We might be little guys, but I'll tell you what, man, you don't. It's a little guy you have to worry about.
That was something I was telling people too. Everybody's they see a person that's like 2-3 times their size, and they automatically get this fear that they get their ass whooped. And I'll tell you what, I've never backed down from a fight in my life.
Nope.
And I've yet to actually in a one-on-one fight, I've yet to actually have anybody hand me my ass. Now I got my ass handed to me 4-on-1 before, but never a one-on-one fight. And I got a brother that's 6'3", and at the time he was 3 1/4. Okay. And I was only like $125 at the time. We went toe to toe. I'd never back down from him. He'd hit me, I'd go flying. I'd come flying back at him and just, I'd be all over him. But I took him down. I snapped my own brother's knee, took him to the ground, and I beat the crap out of him. But you never judge somebody just by their size, because I've met some guys, they were huge, couldn't fight their way out of a wet napkin.
Yeah.
And then the one guy that almost whipped me in a one-on-one fight only came up to about here on me. he was all over me like a little spider monkey, man, just crawling all over me, hitting me. He made the mistake. He slowed down for a second, and I got a hold of him by the throat, and I choke slammed him to the ground. It was over.
That was it. Yeah. I've done a bunch of jiu-jitsu, and some of them little guys in jiu-jitsu, man, they freaking kick your ass. They'll have you wrapped up in an arm bar or a leg lock. in no time, you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
Hey, you just give me 1 second. I got to shut this window. It was roasting in here with the stove. I'm just going to shut the window real quick.
all right, no problem.
All right.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little chilly in here. I just had to turn on the heater.
So I don't know if you saw or not, but while I was eating some supper before the stream, came up on the television that the $2 trillion stimulus package passed today.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I'm like, well, just another step toward bankrupting the country, really, because about 90% of that is just a bunch of pork, man. It has nothing to do with the coronavirus or nothing like that.
Nope. Only about 9% is going to actually help the American people.
Yeah, I mean, it's pathetic. I mean, I couldn't see, honestly, anything in there that was of any real benefit to the American people, because it had bullshit in there that nobody gives a damn about. You know,
Right.
I don't care about gender studies. I don't care about any of that crap. You know, and as far as the school system goes, I mean, they've still got money from the last stimulus that they haven't spent.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. For the school system. So why are we giving them more money? Let them spend what they got first. You know,
right. Let the kids get back to school.
Quit bailing out pensions. Okay, if your pension is being ran poorly and is on the verge of bankruptcy, then you need to do something about it. Stop expecting the rest of us out here to bail it out.
Right, exactly.
I don't. We're
getting tired of bailing these companies out.
Yeah, you know, I live in a state. We're like the second highest property taxes in the nation in Illinois. Okay. I keep watching my property taxes go up every damn year, and nothing is getting any better. You know, it's just going to bail out a bunch of shit that I didn't even approve of. You know,
right.
2 years ago, they passed a law in Illinois where you can't even use a gas leaf blower. Yeah. I'm like, with all the trouble that this damn state is in, this is what you're worried about? People using a gas leaf blower? Really?
Right.
You know, and if you get caught using a gas leaf blower here now, it's a $500 fine.
Are you kidding?
No.
So what have all these landscape companies and whatnot done?
They have to use battery operated ones.
Holy crap.
And you know how quick those die, right? I mean.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know how fast they die in a cordless drill, let alone trying to use it as a blower.
Well, I have a DeWalt leaf blower that runs off of the battery pack. 10 minutes, it's totally done.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. You know, that's long enough for me to blow half the yard into a pile. Then I have to switch batteries and blow the other half into a pile, and then I can burn them or whatever. You know.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, we've got, and this state's got some of the worst gun control laws. Oh my God. I have to have a FOID card to be able to purchase an air rifle if it shoots at more than 700 feet per second. Yeah. See, I went out a few years back and I bought one that it's a pellet gun. It travels at like 1,300 feet per second. So it's the equivalent to about a 22 rifle, you know.
Yep.
But I had to have a FOID card to buy it.
Wow.
Can't own a taser gun here unless you're licensed. You have to have a license for a taser gun, stun gun, you know. I mean, the only thing they allow you to carry is mace. You know.
Yeah.
It's gotten bad.
I don't think Connecticut's not that bad yet. with the tasers. I mean, they're pretty strict with their gun laws. You know, we had Sandy Hook happened, and after that, man, they really pushed gun restriction and
Well, see,
whatnot after that.
I was in Newtown when all that happened. Okay, I was making a delivery in Newtown, Connecticut. Okay, when that school shooting took place a few years back.
Yep.
And I was just down the street when all this took place. Well, I got out of my truck and I went to see what was going on after it was all over with, right? After all the shooting was done and everything. And I watched as they pulled an AR-15 out of the guy's trunk of the guy's car that had done all this, right? But yet in the news, they were claiming that he had the AR-15 inside the school.
Mm.
Okay, so if I'm watching him pull it out of the trunk of his car, how did he have it in the school with him?
Right. After he was already dead in the building.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a bunch of shit about that didn't really make too much sense to me, but
yeah, it was.
I think they definitely, either way, they definitely used it as ammo for them to push their agenda.
Oh yeah. Okay, the majority of our shootings in the United States are actually done by registered Democrats. Believe it or not, I've looked up the statistics on it. I've looked up the statistics on it. 79% of all the shootings, the mass shootings in America, are done by Democrats, registered Democrats, liberals. Okay. So it's not a gun problem. It's a liberal problem.
Right. Right.
And the only gun control I believe in is hitting what you aim at.
Exactly. Hitting your target.
Yep.
And you don't miss around here.
You know, control your shots and you're good. I don't need somebody telling me how many rounds I can have in a magazine. I don't need anybody telling me what caliber I can have and what caliber I can't. It's not the gun itself that causes the problem. It's the person wielding it. Because the gun's nothing more than a tool.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely agree. 100%.
Statistics show that in America, more people are beaten to death with the hands and feet than there are with a rifle, by about 3 times as many. You know? Same way.
Yeah, guns don't kill people. People kill people.
Yep. There's twice as many people killed with hammers every year as there are people shot to death. Okay, so you're going to start classifying my hammers as assault hammers and stuff, you know?
Right. And let's not talk about motor vehicle deaths.
Yeah, right.
Or prescription pill overdoses.
Yeah.
You don't see them cutting back on any of those. You know,
just
if anything, with the prescription drugs, they keep pushing them in your face.
Just try getting a prescription for pain pills now. I mean, here in Illinois, I can't even get a prescription for a pain pill whenever I get my teeth pulled. You know? Here's some, here's some Motrin or some shit like that. I'm like, seriously? You just had to cut a tooth out. You think that's going to actually cut the pain? You know?
Especially they offer me when I go to the dentist, and I tell them no, thank you. You take Tylenol and ibuprofen together, and it does the same thing as one of those freaking Percocets without the addictive, the addictiveness to go with it.
For some people that will, but for somebody like me, it doesn't do jack squat because I'm allergic to Novocaine. So when they shoot me up with the Novocaine, it sets my entire jaw on fire whenever that numbing wears off.
Oh, man, that's
my throat gets on fire, my entire jaw. I mean, it hurts so bad, it'll bring a grown man to his knees praying that God would just take their life. So the only way I've been able to deal with it is I go over to my sister-in-law's and I say, hey, look, I need a sleeping pill. Just knock my ass out until all this is over with. You know?
Yeah.
Because I mean, they won't give me any pain pills whatsoever for it. And I'm like, really? it's, 5-day prescription. That don't even have to be 5 days, just 3 days. That's all I need.
Right. Something to get you through.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
asking you to write me 6 months.
Oh man. Well, that's something that people got to think of too when they prep. It's because shit hits the fan and something happens. You have what you have, so you need to prep. Pain pills and
Well, see, that's why
antibiotics.
I've started getting into natural painkillers and stuff. Plants that you can grow that will work the same as a prescription painkiller. You'd be surprised how many there are out there actually that you can grow legally in your garden, that kill extreme amounts of pain, just like toothache pain. I've told people this before. You go out, you find you a cattail. They grow all over the place, anywhere where there's a lot of water. Okay.
Yep.
You peel the leaves all on the stalk back, and there's this clear jelly in there. You collect that up, rub that on your gums. It'll numb your gums for hours.
No shit.
It's a natural painkiller or anesthesia for your pain.
Yep.
Anesthetic.
Yep. No kidding.
It works better than any Ambisol or anything like that.
Yeah, then screw that Ambisol shit, man. All that stuff does that is fucking rot your teeth anyway.
Oh yeah.
I've used that stuff in the past with toothaches, and the dentist told me that's the worst thing that you can use.
Yeah.
You're better off sticking an ibuprofen right on the tooth and letting it work that way than to put that shit in your mouth.
But see, this is natural.
That's something I'll have to start looking into is some more of the natural plants.
Yep. Because it absolutely has no side effects to it whatsoever, other than the fact that you'll be talking like this for a while, because it numbs your tongue. But I mean, it lasts for a good long time. Now the problem is that you can't really store it for more than a couple of months before it starts going bad. Now, I had some that I stuck in the freezer that I managed to last for about 6 months. But
Independent Marine just said natural meds, sassafras root for one.
Yeah.
We'll have to maybe look into that.
Sassafras is a good painkiller. It actually is.
Yeah.
Cloves work great for toothache pains.
Cloves, yeah. I've heard of cloves before, yeah.
Yeah. The problem is you got to be able to tolerate the taste of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever ate a clove, man, it is some bitter stuff.
Yeah, I've had it before in the past, and it didn't care for it. But if you're in a SHTF situation and you have no other choice,
oh yeah,
you're just gonna deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned all sorts of natural remedies. It surprises people the things that you can cure with just common plants. Plus, I also grow stuff like spearmint and just all different types of stuff like that because they're great for insect control.
Yeah. Yep.
And
I do
people don't realize
lavender.
Independent Marine says, "Yep, taste sucks."
Yeah. Well, hopefully you had some alcohol stored up in your preps and you can take a shot behind it.
Oh, I got plenty of liquor stored up. Yeah. That's like
that's one thing that I don't have much of. I don't drink very often, so alcohol is not a big prep for me.
I don't drink very often myself, but it makes a great barter item in an SHTF. So I store up hard liquors. Plus, they're great for sterilizing stuff. So I have a combination of brown liquors and clear liquors, and you never know how much you're going to need. And then I have little bottles that I can transfer the big bottles into for bartering. I store up a lot of tobacco. I vacuum seal it and then I freeze it, so that it stays fresh. You know,
Yeah.
but hell, I've got a whole freezer full of nothing but tobacco and tubes and stuff. You know, as you can tell, you know, I'm a smoker, so you know, I'm also
Do you roll your own cigarettes?
huh?
You roll your own cigarettes?
Well, being out on the road, I just buy them. But like if it's an SHTF, yeah, I'll roll my own. I've got the little slide machines that I can inject them in, and then I've also got papers that I can roll. You know,
Yeah.
you know, it's hard. It's hard for me to roll nowadays because I've got arthritis so bad in my hands. But you know, the machines work great for injecting the tobacco into the tubes. You know.
Yeah, I've seen them. I used to be a smoker. I actually just hit my 1 year of not smoking cigarettes, so that was a pretty big
Congratulations.
milestone. Thank
Yeah.
you. It was a big achievement, that's for sure. I was a 2-pack a day smoker.
Yeah.
And,
That's me. You know.
Yeah.
But I've been smoking for 38, 39 years. You know. So I don't see me giving it up anytime soon. You know. I tried before. You know. I did. I tried before, and I made the decision I was either going to kill somebody or I was going to smoke a cigarette because the guy had pissed me off so bad that I was actually going to kill him if I didn't have a cigarette. You know, I mean, he got right up in my face and started poking me in the chest, and then he spit in my face, and I was just like,
Oh yeah, no,
you know,
nope.
it's either have a cigarette or kill him. You know.
Yeah, I probably would have knocked him in the head and then had a cigarette anyway. Spitting in somebody's face is the most disrespectful thing you can do.
Oh, I ain't
You
saying he
deserve
didn't
it.
get his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped.
Well, I sure hope so.
Somebody stopped me and they offered me a cigarette if I'd just get up off of him. You know? So I took the cigarette and I was like, all right, I'm done. You know, and then I wound up getting arrested over it because technically I'd won the fight like 10, 15 minutes before I actually stopped beating on him, and they called it excessive. So, you know, but I went to court over it, and they threw it out. You know, I mean, you know how many germs and diseases can be spread by somebody spitting in your face. You know.
Yeah.
And the judge agreed with me on that. He goes, I probably wouldn't have stopped myself.
Right.
So he
That's probably
took the
why he
case
got
out.
it thrown out. Yeah. Well, that's good. Let's see what else we got. Prep Bourbon and Franklin Company, Virginia's spring water.
I must have missed that one.
Well, I know if I ever need bourbon, I could probably go to my old man's house. I'm sure he's got plenty of it stocked.
Oh, you got independent brands. It fails me on the arthritis thing. Yeah. My hands are always hurting. You know. And say I've got trigger finger. I don't know if you know what that is, but my finger will lock up, and when I try to force it, it pops open. It's like it's spring loaded. Okay.
Well, what's that from?
Just from all the years of everything that I've done to my body. I mean, the tendons in my hands are so tight now that it causes that to happen. You know?
Yeah.
They were talking I could go in for surgery and then make little incisions and cut the tendons, and then I was like, okay, well, how long am I going to be down? They go, well, a couple of months. It's like I can't afford to do that. You know.
Yeah.
So I just deal with it. You know, I'll wake up in the morning, my hand will be froze like this, and I'll actually have to pry my hand open. You know, but I mean, I used to box, kickbox, and do martial arts and stuff. So my hands are like, they're small. My hands are small, but I mean, they're like concrete. You know, if I hit you, it's like getting hit by a slab of granite. Because I've done so much damage. I've cracked the bone so much, and it's filled in with calcium deposits and everything that it's just like getting hit with granite when I punch somebody. My wife,
Yeah. Mine haven't gotten that bad yet.
my wife tells me, because I'll play around with her and I'll just kind of tap her, a little backhand to the back of the head or something, just playing around as I walk by her. I'll tap her on the back of the head. She's like,
I
God
love
damn
that.
it, don't be hitting me that hard. I'm like, I just barely tapped you, But, I don't realize, she says that I don't realize how strong I actually am and how heavy handed I am and everything. Honestly, I don't. I've never actually found my own limits as far as my strength goes. You can always find more if you just try. I mean,
Yep.
I got trapped under a big block 455 engine before. The hoist broke and it fell on top of me. And it was sitting on my chest, and I was getting to the point where I couldn't breathe at all. And to my surprise, I was actually able to lift that whole damn engine up off of me, bench press it, and toss it to the side.
Yep.
It's probably adrenaline that kicked in. You never know how strong you are until you're forced with that situation.
Absolutely. I had something like that happen a few years ago. We were building a house for my buddy, and it was a modular home. So we, they brought it all in on the trucks and set it up. But he got one of those wood boilers down in the basement. Well, he lived on a dirt road, and the tractor trailer driver didn't want to back the truck down the road to the driveway. So we met him up top of the road with a pickup truck. We were able to get it from the tractor trailer into the back of the pickup truck. So we backed it up to the walkout basement doors.
Yeah.
And we were going to slide it down on heavy, thick wood ramps, slide it down off the truck, get into the basement. It was the end of the day. I think it was like 5 or 6 o'clock at night. We'd already been working all day. And we got like halfway down, and one of the legs came off the board, and the boiler fell off the ramps and fell on top of my buddy's father, who I think at the time was in his mid-60s, and he was pinned against a retaining wall with this stove on top of him, and my buddy freaked out. He freaking lost it. He was screaming, "Help my dad, help my dad." And I went over there and I lifted the corner of the stove and I just fucking lifted it with everything I had. And it was enough for him to get his dad out.
Oh,
and it fucked his dad up. His back, he busted up vertebrae in his back. He was really screwed up. So after, I don't know, it was a couple of days later, he looked at the packing slip. And that thing weighed 1,600 pounds.
You'd be surprised how that adrenaline really, it gives you a hell of a power boost.
It sure does. Him and I tried to move it after the fact, and we could barely budge it. And the fact that I was able to lift that thing, I probably lifted it a good foot and a half up for his dad to get out. 1,600 pounds, and there's no way in hell I could ever do that again, unless I was under that kind of pressure. But yeah, that adrenaline is unbelievable. It's a drug or a feeling that you can't buy. I don't think like you can replicate it. It's incredible. What do we got here?
Oh, my fingers and toes have been broken. Now, see,
yeah.
I've never actually broken a bone. I've cracked them. I've cracked my bones, but I've never actually broken a bone. Okay.
No, me
either. I've been through a lot of shit. I mean, I've been ran over, God knows how many times. I got hit by a couple of semis and a dump truck, and managed to walk away with just a few scratches.
You're like a cat who got 9 lives or something.
Well, I mean, I got hit head on, and it didn't, well, the last semi that hit me, I caught the corner of it. I caught the corner of the front end what he hit me with. But the rest of the times it was a head on. I was dead center of the damn truck.
Jesus.
The first time I ever got ran over was I was 12 years old. Got hit by a dump truck. The dump truck driver was drunk, and my head went through the radiator. And then I bounced off and slid down into a storm drain.
What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it sent me flying. I bounced off the pavement and slid right down into a storm drain. I was 12 years old, And the paramedics showed up. The police showed up. They're all up there looking around for me. Couldn't find me. Couldn't find me for shit. I come crawling up, and I'm trying to get out of the storm drain, and I couldn't get back out of it. I was so sore, I just couldn't do it. And so I started screaming, and they finally come over and found me in the damn storm drain.
Oh my goodness.
I was 12 years old in St. Louis, Missouri at the time when that happened.
Unbelievable. Well, I've never broken any bones, but I've sliced the tips of both of my fingers off. I lost they sewed it back on, but I pretty much severed my left pinky finger in a wood splitter. I put my hand through a fish tank. I've gotten so many stitches from this and that, but luckily I've never broken any bones, and I'd like to keep that one going.
Well, in my lifetime, I keep my medical records here on property with me, but my medical records are like phone book thick. And all in all, in my lifetime, the last time we counted, now I've had some stitches since then, but the last time we counted what was in my medical records, I've had over 60,000 stitches in my lifetime.
Jesus.
Well, I've been shot, stabbed, beaten, blown up, ran over. I mean, hell, I had my forearm muscle severed. I had to have the forearm muscle reattached and everything. My hand just hung limp after it was a knife fight. The guy stuck the knife in my arm. I didn't even know it was actually a knife fight. He had a little 3-inch blade, but he stuck it in my arm and he ripped it across. And after that, I couldn't.
Oh man.
But I don't ever go outside without a shirt on and full pants because, well, it scares the kids for one. I mean, when me and my wife got together the first time she saw me naked, she thought I was Frankenstein.
Oh my
because
goodness.
I've got so many scars all over my body. I mean, I've had my chest cracked a few times. They've declared me dead 4 times. I've got 4 death certificates. I woke up in the morgue at one point, and they had my chest was cracked open, and they had me on artificial heart to keep the blood circulating through my system because I'm an organ donor. They were going to harvest my organs. Well, they had me in the morgue waiting for the transplant team to get there. Well, that artificial heart pumping all that blood through me, my heart started back up, and I sat up on the damn gurney in the morgue.
What the hell?
Chest still open, and the guy that was in the morgue, he just hit the ground. He fainted dead away.
Yeah. Oh shit! Yeah, what the hell?
I mean, I had the toe tag and everything,
Jesus, man, I guess you've been through some shit. I got nothing that tops that, man.
I've got actually 4 signed and sealed death certificates, and it freaks people out when they come over and I'll show it to them, And they're like, oh,
you got them hung up on the wall next to like the family pictures or what?
Well, we have a couple of them actually hung up. We do. We actually have a couple of them hung up.
That's crazy.
I mean, I died from a gunshot wound, is what it was. And, everybody thought that, that you, how do I put it? They thought, getting shot dead center of the chest, that it was going to keep me dead, I guess. but it didn't penetrate my heart. What it done was it clipped one of the arteries that led to the heart. So it just nicked it.
Yeah.
So, they had it sutured back together and everything, but my heart stopped after they'd done that, and they couldn't get it to start back up. And after about 4 or 5 minutes, they declared me dead, and then hooked me up to the artificial heart to keep my organs vital until the transplant team got there. But
That's crazy.
it's been an interesting life. That's why I tell people, I'm not afraid to die. Okay, I kind of look forward to death in a way because it'll be a release from all the pain that my body's in. I mean,
yeah, right.
I've got a plate in my head. I've got a Kevlar plate in my forehead. Got into a fight with a guy with a baseball bat.
Man. Jesus, I don't even know what to say to all that.
That's why I laugh when people tell me they're going to kill me. I'm like, others have tried.
Right. Get in line, motherfucker.
I mean, well, I used to when I was young, I worked as a security contractor overseas. I don't know if you know much about it, but security contractors are basically mercenaries for hire. We go into combat zones where the military won't go with these individuals that want to go in there. Anything from senators to businessmen. They pay you a good fee to go in and protect them in a combat zone. And
right.
we've traveled with military convoys and stuff, But I mean, hell, we were in a convoy once before and we were attacked, and it's my job to protect the guy. So I'm right out there with the troops, opening fire on anything that moved outside of our perimeter. So I mean, it was an interesting life doing that, but man, it takes its toll on you quick. And
I can imagine.
I see all these people all the time on YouTube talking about, I can't wait for war, Civil War, and Revolutionary War, and all this stuff. And I'm like, don't be in such a big hurry for that, because unless you've been overseas and you've seen people die and you've taken a life yourself, it changes you forever. You will never be the same person. And you will see the faces of the people that you've killed for the rest of your life. I know I do. Every time I close my eyes, and the trauma that it inflicts on you, especially, I've seen some guys go into combat that were not mentally prepared for it whatsoever. And they cracked. And I mean, they cracked. I seen one guy, he was curled up in the fetal position, bawling his eyes out in the middle of a damn firefight. I mean, he was not prepared for the stress of the situation. And that's why I tell people, don't be in a hurry for no war to break out. It's not all this glory that they show you in the movies.
Right.
It is horrifying. I mean,
I don't think people really understand what we'd be up against if a civil war broke out, or they don't.
Think about it. You could be fighting your own brother. If you're on two different sides here, I mean, during the Civil War, it was brother against brother and so forth. So what do they think another Civil War would be like? Because I got members of my family that are liberal. Okay. You don't think we'd wind up facing each other at some point?
Right. Exactly.
And no matter how hard you are, if you have to kill a member of your own family, there's no coming back from that.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And I mean, I'm a pretty hard person. I can well, go out and grab a rabbit right out of the cage, snap his neck, and start gutting him and skinning him right there on the spot and never even blink an eye. I'll grab a chicken and just pop his head off and, watch the blood spurt out as I'm carrying him to the house.
Right. But to do that to another human life.
Yeah. When you have to do that to another human being, it messes with your head for the rest of your life.
Yeah. I hope that none of us actually have to do that. I never want to have to pull my trigger to take another man's life. And I don't think anybody really wants that.
I've done it.
Then
I've done it, and I don't really relish the idea of doing it. But if it comes down to it, yeah, I'll do it again. But it's not something that's my first choice.
Right.
That's why I've become more of a. I'm here in my older age. I've become more of a peacemaker with people, trying to work things out with people rather than to go to and get into a fight or anything like that. Because I know what real combat is like, and I scare myself because I still have instances where I will flash back to some of these situations and not really realize what I'm doing, and I woke up in the middle of the night one night having a horrible nightmare. Okay, now we have a solid oak bedroom door. Okay, I ran through the door. Okay, because I thought that I was back overseas and being attacked. Okay, so I jumped up out of bed and I ran through the door, and it scared the crap out of my wife.
Oh, I'm sure.
In the middle of the night, I've almost punched her in the head. I wake up just in time to stop from actually making contact. I punched holes in the walls because I'd get back to where, like, I'd be dreaming about being back where I was doing a hand-to-hand combat. And I punched clean through from my bedroom into my bathroom before.
That gets expensive after a while.
Oh yeah, my wife, she's always like, that's going to just, you got to learn to keep that shit under control. You're costing us too much money. She understands because when we got together, before I even proposed to her or anything, I told her, I go, look, life with me is not going to be a cakewalk. Okay, I have PTSD, and there's some times that I can get pretty scary and not mean to, and told her if it ever gets too much for you, you need to let me know, because I've tried, the psychiatrists and all that shit, and all the bullshit that they try to tell you. They've never been there. They don't know that kind of crap.
Right.
Okay. They don't know what's really going through your head. The crap they try to feed you doesn't help you whatsoever. And then they want to put you on these meds and stuff. And I'm sorry, I'm not a med taker. And like here recently, I went to the doctor and he tried to put me on Prozac saying I was depressed. I'm like, I ain't depressed. I'm actually happy with the way my life is now.
Right.
But I was like, all you're doing is trying to medicate me for no reason whatsoever. Just like you do kids all across this country. You're keeping them medicated so that they don't think for themselves.
Right. And they don't be kids. Ritalin is the big one for them.
Yeah. And then, as they get older,
let's put them on Ritalin.
They're trying to make these laws to where you can't even own a firearm if you were on meds as a kid. And I made a video about it, about the gun legislation, the HR 127. And I read I read clean through that thing, and it is nothing but one giant gun grab bill. Okay.
Yeah.
if you were on meds as a kid, but you're not on meds as an adult, you still can't own a firearm because you were on those psychedelic meds or mind controlling, mind altering meds in the past. If your ex-wife says that you're a danger, they will stop you from owning a firearm.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, what ex is going to say? Oh, he's
right.
not.
Right. Exactly. They're an ex for a reason.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, you talk to the total psychopath, but I was nice as hell to her. I mean,
right.
I could have easily killed her when I came home and found her in bed with 5 other guys when I returned from overseas. Okay. I didn't kill her. Okay. The guys went flying through the walls and stuff, and one went through the window and one went through the door to the bedroom. But I never laid a hand on her. I just told her to get her shit and get the fuck out.
Oh, goodness.
That
was your what?
That was my first wife. Now I was married to her for 18 years. Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Oh, man.
Now, I might be getting a little too graphic for some people, but hey, I walked in, my wife had one in each hand and one in each hole. Okay. What do they think that I'm going to do? I'm going to flip the fuck out.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, here, I just returned from being gone for 8 months overseas. I walk into my house, I hear all this noise in my bedroom. I go walking in there, and this is what I see.
Oh, yeah, I would have done the same exact thing. That is fucking crazy.
But,
man, you got a hell of a story.
I didn't let her know I was coming home. I wanted to surprise her when I came home. Yeah, I surprised her all right.
Oh, yeah, you sure did. Oh, man.
I don't know which one of us was more surprised, her or me.
Yeah, or the 5 dudes.
Well, the really sad part about it is I knew 3 of them.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You want to know the really funny thing about that, though? Those 3 guys that I knew, they packed up and moved the hell out of state within a week of that happening. They were scared to death. And to this day, they're still scared to death that I'm coming for them.
Well, keep them in fear, I guess, right?
I ran into one of them over in Missouri, and I realized it was him, and I was standing behind him in the line at the store, and I said his name, and he turned around, and he looked at me, and he just ran out the damn store. He left everything, just ran. And all I did was say his name, and he turned around and seen me, and he was gone.
Like a fart in the wind. That's funny.
It's been an interesting life. Like I said, I've lived enough of life. I'm not afraid to die. I will gladly step in front of anybody that's trying to attack my family, and by the time they get to me, my family will done and be gone. I've already told my family, look, if I'm standing my ground when people are attacking, you get the fuck out, and you get the fuck out quick. Don't worry about me.
Right.
Because I'm old. I've lived my life. I mean, my wife's only 37. I'm quite a bit older than her.
Holy crap, she's younger than me. I'll be 39 at the end of this month.
See? But I mean, I've lived through my first wife. That was hell, so. And then my second wife, I was married to her for 5 years before she passed away. And then I got with my current wife about 5 years ago, almost 6 now. So, and everybody's like, "Oh man, you've been married too many times." I'm like, "What? I've only been married twice. Had my second wife not passed away,
Right.
I mean, my first wife, I mean, if you ever met her, you'd understand exactly why. You know, you know, I mean, I come home from being overseas before, and I'd be missing like $100,000 out of my checking account, and I'm like, where the hell did all my money go? I'd come to find out later on, like she bought one of her boyfriends a car, she bought another one a house, and I didn't find all this out until later on, because I was working most of the time, but it was, because I'd make, depending on who I was protecting and what kind of situation I was in, I'd make $400,000 or $500,000 for a tour, and hell, I'd come home and be missing 100,000 of it, and then on top of that, I still had to pay taxes on
it. Oh man, that's unbelievable. Oh, I have yet to be married. I got engaged once. I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years ago, and that was a mistake. She turned out to be a little bit too much of a drinker. I hope to eventually get married, and I'd like to have a kid and pass the genes down, but see what happens.
Well, in today's society, it's hard to find a woman or a guy, really. Women have the same problem as guys. It's hard to find somebody that's actually going to be faithful and true to you, and be honest with you.
Yep.
And if you find it, it's very rare, And I told my wife, my current wife, when we got married, I go, look, if you're not willing to be totally honest with me, don't ever say I do, because I've been an open book with you. I'm an open book with everybody. I don't care. I ain't got nothing to hide. Yeah, I've done some shameful things in my past. I have. I've not always been a very good person. I mean, I've done a lot of evil in my life, and I'll tell people exactly the stuff I've done, but just don't lie to me. Don't hide nothing from me, and we're good,
Right.
My wife knows that I worked when I was younger. I was a pimp. Okay. Flat out. I didn't go looking for the girls to pimp them out or nothing like that. These women came to me for protection. Okay. I was in a bad lifestyle at the time, and they knew that I could protect them. They asked me to be their pimp. So I did. But I wasn't a typical pimp. Basically, I took 10% of whatever they made for the night, and I used that to provide home and everything for all the girls to live under the same roof and provide everything for everybody. I didn't actually make any money off of it, and I made the girls have to set aside 20% of everything that they made every night into savings, so that they could get out of that lifestyle. I helped several of the girls get off of drugs and get their kids back. I'm still in contact with a bunch of them to this day, and my wife's talked to them, and they still thank me to this day for getting them out of that lifestyle. So I wasn't your typical pimp. My goal wasn't to make money off of these girls having to sell their bodies. My goal was to get them out of that lifestyle. If they're going to be in that lifestyle, they need to have an escape plan, and that was basically what I was giving them. So, people, when I tell them, look, I was a pimp, they automatically start assuming things. Well, I wasn't your typical pimp. Yes, I gave them protection. Yes, I made a little bit of money off of it, but not a lot. Because most of what I made went back into providing for the girls, and getting them help for getting off drugs and stuff. Some of them I set some of the money back that I took from some of the girls and created basically a law account so that I could pay for their lawyers to get their kids back once they got out of that lifestyle, you know. But
Okay.
but I have done a lot of despicable things in my life. I mean, I used to ride with some outlaw MCs, you know. I've done some bad things, and I try to make amends for it now. You know, that's all you can do. You make your
Yeah,
mistake.
well, that's what counts. Try to make up for the you know, I guess the bad things that you've done in the past. You know what I mean? Nobody's perfect. I've definitely done. You know, I haven't done anything down to that extreme, but you know, I was definitely a mean and evil and angry person for a while, and probably beat the shit out of people that maybe didn't quite deserve it. But you know, and you just try to make up for it in your life now.
Yeah, that's all you can do. I mean, I used to be the kind of guy that if you even breathed wrong in my direction, I was all over you. You know, I didn't give a shit. You know, you looked at my wife for more than 2 seconds. I was on top
Oh
of
yeah,
it. You
yeah.
know, I mean, but I was also the kind of guy that I was a total asshole. I mean, I got drunk one night and I was looking for a fight. So I went down to my local biker bar, and there was a rival MC in there, and me being the dick that I was and looking for a fight, I went up to the biggest guy at the table. He had a bunch of his buddies and their old ladies all sitting around, you know. They're all drinking and everything. I went up to the biggest guy there, sitting next to his old lady. I whipped my dick out, put it on her shoulder, and asked her how much for a blowjob. You know, well, needless to say, I got the fight I was looking for. You know, but there were 6 of us that went to the hospital that night. So, you know, the way I look at it, I held my own for as long as I could. You know,
my earbud died here, so I can't really hear you through the phone anymore.
Yeah, see, I don't use the earbuds. I let my speaker on my phone do it.
Yeah, mine's not too loud, and
Yeah, I think I lost him again. uh,
I'm back. I don't know what happened.
I was like, whoop, I lost him again.
That's better. I can hear you now. Yeah, I guess let's screw the earbuds.
Yeah,
But we've been at this.
I just used my speaker on my phone, and it generally don't give me no feedback or nothing. So
Yeah, that's what I was worried about with any background noise or anything. Like I said, I hadn't really. This is my first time really doing this, so I think once I jumped in on Grimm's live stream that one day, and he was telling me I had a bunch of background noise, and there was a chipper in front of me. So
yeah, as long as you're just using your phone without any external speakers or anything, it should be all right. You know, it's when you're turning your volume up on external speakers and stuff that it starts getting a lot of background feedback and all that. You know?
Yeah.
I've been on with Grim, and I've been on with John on Prepper Nation and a few other people. So, you know, I'm still new to all this. I mean, I was on other platforms, and it seems like every time I start posting really good videos of stuff, they start pulling my stuff down. I mean, Facebook totally pulled my page down and blocked it. You know, I had over 10,000 people following me, you know, and I wasn't posting anything bad really. You know, I had a lot of gardening videos, canning videos. I had a lot of, I did have a lot of firearms videos on there though, and that's what got me pulled down. You know,
that's a big no-no. Yeah, you can't show firearm videos.
I was showing people how to field strip their rifles and clean them and all that, you know. I mean, all the, you know, and then Facebook changed the rules, and all of a sudden that's no longer allowed, and they pulled me down. Twitter's pulled me down. Instagram's pulled me down. I mean, you know, hell, my Instagram, I had like 70-some thousand people following me and just gone, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And my Twitter, I had somewhere around 60 or so thousand people on there, and it was gone. I went to log in and said my account was no longer valid. I was like, you know, and then I get an email telling me that I was in violation and that they banned my account. I was like,
that's crazy.
You know, y'all should have just at least gave me a warning or something, you know?
Right.
But no, they just up and gone. And so then I started checking out YouTube, and I was like, well, I'll start making some videos on here, you know, and see how long it takes them to pull me down and ban me, you know. I mean,
yeah,
they really hate it when you start telling people the truth about what's going on in the world. I mean, they really do. They hate it with a passion. Like, okay, I've been reading a lot of stuff about the vaccines, and this is probably going to piss them off. But you know, there's been several cases where people have had spontaneous miscarriages because right after getting the vaccines. There are women that have been finding lumps in their breasts, and they get concerned that it's cancerous and stuff, so they're going in for biopsies and everything. And they're coming to find out that it's their lymph nodes that are swollen from the vaccine. Yeah, that's causing the lumps in the breast. So here they're undergoing all these medical procedures because of the vaccine making their lymph nodes swell up in that breast. And it's generally on the same side that they got the vaccine in. You know, like if you got your vaccine in your right arm, then your right breast, if you're a woman, your right breast would start showing signs of lumps and stuff. And it was turning out to be that they would go in for biopsies and come to find out it was just their lymph nodes were swollen. And see, these are warnings that they should give these people before they take the vaccine. You know, they want to cover up the stuff. They don't want to tell you the actual side effects because they're afraid it'll deter too many people from it. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer. Okay, I've had all my vaccines. I mean, you know, going overseas, I had to have vaccines all the time. You know?
Right. Yep.
I mean, they're required, especially in the combat zones and stuff. So I'm not anti-vax. You know, now do I get a regular flu shot? No, because I've had bad experiences with the flu shots where I still come down sick and wind up getting even sicker than I normally would. You know, now myself, no, I'm not going to take these vaccines because there's too many unknown variables. You know, and I don't know what the side effects of this what is it, mRNA sequencing that they're doing, because I've read about some of the things that it can do where it can resequence your genes, and I don't like the idea of that. You know,
nope.
And then the new Johnson & Johnson one that they just got approved, it's made with aborted fetal tissue, so I don't want to take that. You know.
Yep, I've read about that too. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm totally 100% against abortion, and people have gotten mad at me for saying that, but I don't care. This is my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. If you disagree with it, that's fine. But don't be making death threats on me and all that kind of stuff, because I have received those over that kind of stuff. Look, you know, my opinion, my beliefs are my beliefs. If I don't believe in abortion, then hey, you're not going to change my mind on it. Just like,
and that's what it is, an American, to have your own opinion.
Yeah, well, not anymore. You know,
anymore. They are slowly trying to take that away from us.
You know, if you don't follow the group now, you know, they try to cancel your entire life. I've had them try to cancel me already several times. You know, A recent one was just this last summer. Somebody had contacted the company I was working for and tried to get me fired, saying they couldn't believe that that company would hire a xenophobic, racist, bigoted so and so, all because they'd seen a post where I was supporting President. You know, I mean, okay, you don't like my opinions? Don't watch my channel.
Right.
It's that simple.
There's plenty of other channels to
people I disagree with. I don't follow their channels because our opinions are so different. You know, I've tried to have conversations with some of these people so that I can express, we can exchange our opinions, and they get all pissed off and don't want to talk to me. Okay, fine. I've reached out to some of the channels and they just ignore me. That's like, I don't like conspiracy theories. I don't like all the conspiracy theories that run around in this community. And we've got some channels that are heavy on conspiracies.
Oh, they feed off.
I've reached out to them to ask them to dial it back a bit. Okay, you want to tell people all this stuff's happening. Okay, tell them that these are theories. Don't tell them it's something that's actually happening. Say that, this is what I think's happening, or this is my opinion about it. But don't try to get people to believe that it's actual fact. And put a warning on your label, when you post a video. Let them know that there are conspiracy theories in the video. I don't think that's too much to ask, because I get people all the time emailing me, well, I seen this person said that this was happening and I'm scared to death. What should I do? Okay, first off, don't believe everything you hear. Research it. Find out for yourself.
Right.
Okay, because people do spread a lot of conspiracy way out there crap. So don't get in a panic just because somebody said something and it's a scary situation that they're trying to spread. Look into it. Do some research. I've got people they've emailed me and telling me what somebody had said was happening. So I went and I did the research on it, and I gave them all the information that I found on it to let them know, okay, this isn't really happening, and I don't go through yes, I use some mainstream media, but I also use some other media sources besides mainstream, some backdoor media, because you're not going to get the truth from mainstream.
No. All the mainstream is going to do is push their agenda.
I mean, I made a video recently. I'd read an article, I think it was a couple of days back, anyhow. They said that the new crisis facing the world is we're running out of sand.
Yeah, I saw that video.
I was like, have you looked in the deserts? I mean, I've seen plenty of it there. Have you looked on the beaches? I see plenty of it there. If worse comes to worse, you can vacuum it off of the ocean floor. There's plenty of it down there.
Oh yeah, yeah. We're not running out of sand.
I think I lost your audio here.
Oh, you can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
Uh-oh. I just have my phone going. See if this works.
He's gone again. Well, once he comes back, I'll probably wrap this up because we're having some technical issues here. Yeah, no needles for me anymore either, independent. I'm done getting stuck. No damn pin cushion.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Barely. We're probably going to have to wrap this up anyway. We're running almost to 2 hours here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on my end, but well, if you can hear me, I appreciate it.
I can hear you a little bit, but you're still kind of faint.
All right, I'll get a little bit closer. You're going to have to see my ugly face, though. I appreciate you taking the time to get me on this live stream with you. It was awesome
Yeah,
talking with you.
unfortunately, like I said, I don't have that many subscribers anymore. Most of them, I guess I pissed them off, so I'm only down into
Whatever.
the 400s. So
Yeah, well, you're double than what I got, but any little bit helps. And I think
Right.
at the end of this, I made a friend on the internet.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can do it again soon.
Yeah, I hope so.
Awesome.
Anytime you want to come back on, or you want me to come onto your channel or whatever, just let me know. Send me an email. We'll get together. We'll come up with something to talk about. I mean, my live streams are a lot different than a lot of the other people's. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a tendency
Well, I
to
do
stick
wanna
to certain subjects, and I just go all over the place.
Yeah, it's just chit chatting back and forth, and whatever happens. But I did want to say before I got off with you that we appreciate what you do as a truck driver, and and devoting your life to we all need truck drivers, and I think that you guys are underestimated and underappreciated a lot. So I'd like to say thank you for what
I
you do.
appreciate it. It's getting bad out there, and my wife keeps pressuring me to retire. She, I mean, I was attacked a few times last year. I used to be an owner op, and they destroyed my truck. I'm still waiting for the insurance company to pay off on that. But here
And you were just,
recently, I had guys try to mug me.
yeah. Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, it's getting pretty dangerous. There's so many people out of work and getting really desperate right now.
Yep.
Just to support their families. I feel bad, but don't come at me and try to take what I've got. If you need something, ask me. I'm the type of person I generally will give. I mean, I've helped people out so bad this year, it's putting me in financial bind right now. But I can't just turn my back on people.
Right.
Right now, I'm barely covering my bills. And I don't make any money off this, and that's fine. But I do this more of a way to try to help the community, try to keep people informed, give them ideas on things that they can do to prepare. I've made videos on how to create a mag, to different ways to hide food, and just a wide variety of things. Tomorrow I'm going to start some seedlings. We're getting to them a little bit late, but I mean, we should have started them about 2 weeks ago, but I got so busy with everything, I had time. So we'll start them now, and here in about 3 weeks we'll probably put them in the ground. So
I had the same conversation with somebody today. I wanted to do them a couple of weeks back, and I had so many other things going on, and I was on storm all last week. So I work for a tree company that trims around the power lines. The big orange trucks. I don't really want to say the company name, but big orange trucks. They're in all 50 states. So we had a windstorm here. Monday. So we've been on storm all week, so I didn't have time to do shit here, and
I've watched several of your videos, and I notice you're into ham radio and stuff like that, CBs, all that. You actually need to do some more videos on the comms, and do some longer videos on them, because there's a lot of people out here that are interested in comms, and they don't know anything about it. So if you could make some videos about that, I guarantee you people are going to pay attention.
Sure.
I would, but I don't really have the time. I'm not home that often. I mean, I use a base CB. It's got sidebands, and I run a linear and all that on it. And I've got a Moonraker antenna that's about 60 foot in the air. But
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
yeah, I
Nice.
mean, I get it on a good day. I can get Skip good enough to where I can talk clear overseas. You know, but you know, a lot of people have no clue where to even start with the comms. They have no idea about ham radios, CB radios, none of that. You know,
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
but I get a lot of people that request that, and I just don't have the time to run through all of that for them because, like I said, I'm only home on the weekends. You know, and when I am home, I'm pretty busy most of the time. I do
Right.
a lot of
Catching up on
training
all
with
the
my
things.
mag. You know, so you
Catching
know,
up on things you didn't have time to do all week. I get it.
yeah. But
Yeah, I'll
you
definitely
know,
keep that in mind, and I'll make something happen with that.
but that, you know, like I said, that'd be a good idea for you. Really, I mean, people are really interested in that. You know,
Appreciate that. All right.
yeah. But
Awesome, man.
I probably better get back inside. I still haven't ate dinner myself yet. You know? So
All right, Dan. Well,
we'll
it was
call
good
it
talking with
tonight.
you.
Everybody, please, that's still in the chat, check out his channel. He's got some interesting stuff on there. You know, and he's got some stuff about radios and stuff like that on there. So you know, uh, just please go over, check him out. If you like him, subscribe to his channel, give him, you know, like his videos and stuff, share his content. Let's help get the word out.
Yeah, we're all a community here, and I think we can all learn something from each other. You know, we may not
Oh,
all
yeah.
have the same viewpoints on things, but you know, when it comes down to the prepping and the homesteading, you know, everybody's got something to bring to the table, and
Oh yeah,
you know,
homesteading's
so
hard work.
good.
People
It
don't
is.
realize how hard it is, especially
It is.
cutting and splitting firewood.
Right, and then you add a full-time job in onto
Yep.
that, you know, and you know, it's a lot of work. It really is. But you know,
Oh yeah.
it's that mentality and that personality that, you know, just keeps you going and keeps you wanting
Oh
to
yeah.
prepare and be self-sufficient as possible. You know, like
Yep.
I still turn the light switches on. I don't have solar power, you know, but I do as much as I can to get off the
Solar's
system as much
expensive.
as I can. Raise
Solar
my
is
own food.
expensive. I mean, we've been putting it in out at the
It
bug out location, and wow, you know, if we didn't
Yeah.
all see with my mag, we have a treasury. Everybody gives $50 a week into the treasury. Okay, so it builds up the money, and we use that to build up the bug out location. So
Mhm.
we have money that we will spend pouring concrete or putting up fence or, you know, buying cattle, or, you know, here recently we started putting in a lot more solar, you know, and the solar, I mean, geez, we're pushing right now almost $32,000 that we've spent on solar.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
But that's to be fully off grid.
Yeah.
You know, you're not.
That
That's
will be
not. That's
totally
not getting the solar
self-sufficient, off
panels.
grid.
Right.
We won't have to
Right.
depend on anybody for power whatsoever. But, you know,
Right.
we're doing this for a big compound, you know, because our bug out location, we're going to have 300 people there. That's going to be a lot of power people are going to be drawing, you know.
It's a small
And
town.
so, yeah, it is. It's a small town. And,
Yeah.
you know, we want to be totally self-sufficient. We have a couple of wells there that are artesian springs, so they'll never run dry. You know, they're hooked right into the water table of themselves. So, and the wells are always filling themselves back up, no matter how much we use them. So
Right.
we got that, and then we're doing some wind power. We're looking into some hydro as well. You know, just try to be as self-sufficient as possible,
Yep.
because
That's awesome.
eventually everything is going to collapse, and we're going to need to be able to take care of ourselves. You know, no society lasts forever, and you
No.
know, it was
Unfortunately. No.
things that are happening now are the same kinds of things that brought down the Roman Empire, and people just don't realize how bad things are getting. And they're just, you know, they're doing the same thing that the Romans did. They're distracting people with all this other bullshit, you know, because you know, in Rome they put on the gladiator games and all that when the society was collapsing, and they gave everybody free wheat to make bread with. Okay, all that and they also gave them free wine. That distracted them from the actual problems, the financial problems of the nation and how it was collapsing and crumbling underneath everybody.
Yeah.
So people didn't notice until it was too late. And that's just what's happening here. I mean, they're giving away money that we don't have. You know, they're distracting us with all this other bullshit in the news that doesn't make any sense. You know, like Dr. Seuss and Mr. Potato Head and all that crap. You know,
Yeah.
who cares? I want
Right.
to know what the real news is. What are you doing while you're trying to make me look over here? What are you doing over here? You know,
Right. The sleight
that's
of
what
hand.
I want to know.
Right.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But,
And the people that
all
expose
right,
that.
well, we're going to call this a night. I appreciate everybody that was here tonight.
Yep. Thank you,
appreciate
everybody.
you coming on here, Hillbilly.
Appreciate you
It's,
having me.
Been an interesting night. But I'm going to go in and get me something to eat. I got a pot of chili in the house that I made a couple of weeks ago. It's
Oh,
been
yeah.
warming up while I've been out here. So
There you go.
it ought to be good and tasty.
Oh, yeah. All right, Dan.
Well, everybody have a good night. God bless.
Yep.
Take
Have a
care of
good night.
yourselves. Keep prepping. No matter what, don't stop.
Stay safe. Stay
Y'all
healthy.
have a good
and
night.
Keep on prepping. All right, bud. I'll talk to you
I'm
soon.
gonna,
All right.
we'll
Bye-bye.
talk to y'all later. Everybody have a good night. I'm ending this now. Bye-bye.